special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet. That life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head.
It is time to be going and getting up, and no glooming going on around here. Having a great morning, and I have Greg with me. This is also I have by phone. I have Matt Taylor with the Indianapolis Colts. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning. How are you?
We are fantastic. A beautiful morning down here in the southern part of our beautiful state of Indiana, and we are excited. And you know, with these mornings, are a little brisk, a little foggy, a little bit, and you can't help but start thinking about football.
For sure, it's that time of year. You talk about late July and early August when the Colts start reporting for camp and high schools start kicking off, and I know the colleges are starting camp. So the NFL and the football season is here to a degree. First preseason game for the Colts is tonight. So we go so long, it seems, without football. It's kind of a long off season, but then as soon as it's here, it's here to stay seemingly for, Thursday night in the NFL ranks. Friday night is Friday night magical, Friday night lights. Saturdays belong to the colleges. NFL play on Sunday. So it seems like we get inundated with football when it's here, and that's a good thing. And we certainly can't wait for a good season here, hopefully, for the Colts.
Yeah. You finished. You were behind the Texans and had a pretty decent season last year. What's the outlook for this year with the team and the new players and this and that?
Sure. I mean, obviously the Colts are looking for some more consistency, and it's a big year in that they haven't made the playoffs in 4 consecutive seasons, and that is the longest playoff drought for the franchise, believe it or not, since 1988 to 1994. So they are used to postseason success and, making the playoffs. And right now, they're in a division with the Texans that have made the playoffs, or I should say have won the division in each of the last 2 years. And, there's a lot of things that go into an up and down season, which was the case last year, finishing 8-9. But I think if you kind of boil it all down, you can kind of focus on 2 big things for the Colts. First one is just, listen, it's not all about the quarterback, but we know it's probably the most important position in sports. So I think the Colts are looking for some more consistency there. Last year the Colts, finished towards the bottom of the league in terms of the overall passing game, and probably the biggest area in the passing game that they struggled in was probably the intermediate part of the passing game, sort of that middle of the field. And then I think number 2 is defensively, they got to affect the opposing quarterback a little bit more, either within secondary play or getting more pressure and affecting him up front with the pass rush. All too often last year, opposing quarterbacks got into a groove against the Colts. Not to nerd out on stats, but the Colts gave up right around a 70% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks, which was 3rd worst in the NFL. The other team's top players would routinely have, some big games against the Colts. That would be frustrating because, going into a game against the Texans, you got to stop Nico Collins, or, if you're playing the Jaguars, you got to stop Brian Thomas Jr., and so on and so forth. And, some of these top players would have big games against the Colts. So they revamped that scheme on that side of the ball. They have a new defensive coordinator now in Lou Anarumo. They spent a lot of money in free agency and were very aggressive in getting some pieces in the secondary that can complement what Lou wants to do schematically and pull off those changes. Charvarius Ward is in here now to play quarterback. Cam Bynum was a prized free agent pick at safety. So they feel like they have the necessary pieces and now in kind of a new scheme change on defense to be better on that side of the ball. And then again, on offense, there's a quarterback battle going on right now between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, who they picked up in free agency back in March as well. So those two guys are kind of neck and neck right now. Hopefully one of those guys starts to emerge, and again, it's going to come down to the quarterback that gives that team, or that side of the ball rather, the best consistency, the overall consistency in everything, whether it's leadership, command in the huddle, mastery of the playbook. But the biggest thing is just overall consistency in the passing game. That's what it's going to boil down to. So those are the two big things I'm going to be watching for tonight as the Colts kind of turn the page from 2024 to 2025.
Well, it seems like if Tuesday's practice was any indication, it seems like they're fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, Tuesday, joint practice now, and that's becoming more and more, routine and part of NFL nomenclature, if you will. Joint practices in the preseason. We only have 3 preseason games now compared to 4, and so the joint practice with the Ravens on Tuesday ahead of this game tonight went very well for the Colts. I thought they very much held their own, and that's a big deal because the Ravens have been a model, modern NFL day franchise. I mean, they've won a very tough division 2 years in a row. They made the playoffs 3 years in a row. In fact, they made the playoffs 6 of the last 7 years, and they're just a juggernaut on offense. I mean, Lamar Jackson and now Derrick Henry, a bevy of weapons around those guys, playmakers-wise. I mean, they're routinely scoring 30 points per game. And the Colts defense, I thought, held their own. And then offensively, it was a good day by the quarterbacks going up against a very good defense. They did a great job last year, the Ravens defense, that is, stopping them run, and they've made some big additions with their secondary this year as well. And Colts playmakers and skill players made a lot of plays in practice. Most importantly, the quarterbacks looked good, clean, efficient, didn't turn the football over. So all in all, I thought it was a really successful day in the joint practice. And listen, I don't know how much of the Ravens starters we're going to see tonight. Probably not many. But I do know that some of the Colts starters are going to play tonight. So you want to see them go out and perform well, be clean, huge. No penalties, no silly mistakes, things like that. And again, quarterback-wise, you want to see them execute, put the ball where it's supposed to go, make quick decisions, and take advantage of this opportunity because it all matters in deciding who's going to be that quarterback going into the regular season.
And no injuries.
Absolutely, yeah.
All the no's and no injuries, right?
Absolutely. That's probably the biggest hot-button issue around NFL training camps is just, again, every team now handles the preseason differently because of these joint practices. So they have, different ideologies on what they want to get out of these games. But the biggest thing is just how do we, the equation that we all balance, or the algorithm that we all, put into play now, how do we get these guys healthy but at the same time ready and tested for the regular season? It is such a polarizing topic because, there's the old school mentality of guys got to play and you got to kind of sharpen your skills going into the regular season. And then there's the new school where it's all analytics and, data and tracking movements and, steps and how many miles you're running and things like that. I mean, everything is measured. And it all is balanced as it relates to, how much time on task is leading to certain injuries and things like that. So there's a definite balance of, trying to get healthy for the regular season, but also making sure you're available for the regular season and tested and ready, once you start doing everything live, full go, full speed, and the games and the records start to count.
You put them in bubble wrap, Matt. That's what you do. You put them in bubble wrap.
Yeah, I'm more of the old school philosophy than the new school, but sometimes that idea doesn't always win out.
I know that about you. I knew that. I love that.
Are the big helmets still a thing?
I'm sorry?
Are the big helmets still a thing this year?
The big helmets?
Yeah. Didn't they have like a big helmet? Some of the guys, didn't they wear it's like a safety, isn't it? Like a safety?
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. So the Guardian cap. Yeah, some guys are still, the Guardian cap is very prevalent in practice, absolutely. And some guys do choose to wear that in the regular season as well.
Okay.
Matt, let's talk about how do you actually, how do you make that, how's the magic happen behind the scenes that makes the actual season, what games are played on what dates? How do you, the scheduling, I guess, who does all the scheduling, and how is that, just kind of give us a little run through, how's that magic all happen?
Oh man, well the NFL they do a really good job with that. The league makes the schedule. The schedule itself, based on the teams and in terms of who they're going to play, is a formula. And every year, I think the Colts, and in fact, I know for sure, they know who they're going to play next year outside of a couple of games, because there is a formula to it. They just don't know the win part of it. They know where they're going to play and who they're going to play. They just don't know the win part. And the NFL puts together the win part of it. The schedule always comes out in early to mid-May, kind of a couple of weeks after the NFL draft. And there's a lot of different things that go into it. I'm going to oversimplify it, but there's a lot of competing aspects that the league has to juggle. They have to juggle marquee matchups throughout the day. They've got different networks that they have to appease, right? They've got to have marquee matchups for Thursday night. They have to have marquee matchups for a competitive Sunday afternoon window, that late afternoon window when most people are sort of beginning their nesting phase, if you will, on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Obviously Sunday night is something that they have to appease for NBC. Monday night, they have to have marquee matchups there for ESPN. These are billion-dollar investments by these networks, and so they have to, get right, if you will, and the league has to take care of them. And so there's a lot of things that go into it, and, unfortunately, the cold hard truth is, as it relates to the Colts, they're not getting a whole lot of primetime games. You have to earn those, and to be honest with you, primetime games are meant for the teams that are popular, either big markets or have superstars on them that are going to draw big ratings. And right now, the Colts have just a little bit too much uncertainty around them at the quarterback position. They're kind of a little bit of a gamble for the networks to put on TV right now because there's just a lot of uncertainty there, and you don't know exactly what you're going to get from the Colts this year. So, I always say you have to earn those primetime games, and the primetime games are earned the next season by performing well this season, if you will. So, we're trying to get back to that. There's no question about it. But until then, the reality is for the Colts, they're going to play a lot of 1 o'clock games this season. Some 4 for the West Coast. It's kind of a odd schedule this year. I talked about the formula. The formula this year is kind of a perfect storm as it relates to long travel. The Colts this year will play the NFC West and the AFC West. Those are the crossover divisions, and that's going to lead to a lot of travel. So you're going to play the LA teams both on the road, Chargers at Rams. So that's 2 trips to Los Angeles. This year the Colts are playing the Seahawks on the road, so a long trip to Seattle. And then with the marketing rights that the Colts have been granted in Germany, they've been granted another Germany home game. It's a home game for the Colts, but it's going to be played in Germany. That's the crossover game of the NFC that they have this year against the Atlanta Falcons. So I think all told, when you add up all of that travel, to all of those places and back round trip, I think it's over 25,000 miles traveled in the air this year for the Colts. So certainly going to be, long trips and some long events, if you will, for the Colts. Hopefully they can win some of those games, because otherwise those are long flights home if you have to kind of wallow in defeat.
Yeah, it's when it's really silent, more kind of go silent. Matt, what about like as far as like like whenever you look at the season, sometimes I guess like starting off a little bit easier, maybe with some maybe lighter teams and then building up. But I guess you guys, you don't really have any say over it. It's just you just kind of take it whatever you get, right?
Yeah, this is not a high school schedule.
Yeah,
this is not a college football schedule. You don't pick your own schedule in the non-conference, if you will. There is no non-conference for the NFL. All of these games matter very intensely, and anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday.
Right.
That is the greatness, I think, of this league, is the parity of it. To kind of drive home that point, there's been 4 teams every year since 1991. There's been at least 4 teams that make the playoffs that did not the year before. So a lot of parity. This is not like basketball or football, or baseball, where sometimes it's kind of a gradual, slow rebuild. It's not like that. You can get really good really fast. And the greatness, I think, of this league too is that all of these teams, for the most part, are pretty similarly constructed. I think it just boils down to your top 10 to 12 players. Are my top 10 to 12 players better than yours? Are my premium players at premium positions better than your guys? That's what this league kind of comes down to. It's quarterbacks, it's left tackles, it's cornerbacks, it's wide receivers. Are those premium guys on my team, are they better than yours? That's typically what it comes down to. Again, that's an oversimplification of it. But also, too, what makes this league so exciting is that, we're only playing 17 games. And, one NFL game is the equivalent of like 9 or 10 Major League Baseball games. It's the equivalent of like 5 or 6 NBA games. Like, the magnitude of these games is so big. You only play once a week, so they're kind of an event. People plan their weekend around them. The ramifications are so big and so important. And so I think that's what makes it popular. And plus, too, I mentioned the parity, but all of these games are fun and exciting. They come down to the last 4 minutes. They usually are one-score games. The Colts played 13 games last year that were decided by 1 score. So they're coming down to the wire. They're keeping your attention for a full 60 minutes. I think that's why the NFL continues to be the most popular sport in North America, is because the fantasy football aspect of it, the entertainment value of it, the parity of it, and it's what you do on Sundays in the fall.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned fantasy football. I've done it a few times. It's not pretty for me.
She set fantasy football back about 5 years.
Yeah, you got to nail that draft, right? Yeah, the draft is vitally important in fantasy football for the rest of your season.
I picked Cole Beasley. Me and his mom were the only 2 that loved that man. But anyway, no, he went on. He came back. He came back and did great things. But yeah, I liked him when no one else did, I guess. But anyway, back to the it's also interesting. And let's talk about the games. The energy. The I'm I love football, Matt, and so I'm there with the game. But the vibe, the energy that goes on at a Colts game. That just keeps getting bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely an event. It really is. I think going to a Colts game is so special because, first of all, the magnitude of the atmosphere, right? You've got 65,000 people. Yeah. It's a sea of blue. Mm-hmm. But obviously, there's something for everybody. I really do. I think. Downtown Indianapolis is absolutely just buzzing on game day. And what's special, this is going to sound kind of corny, but it's true. I've been doing this long enough, and I've been to every NFL city, so I can kind of speak to this. But there's just something special about Lucas Oil Stadium in the stadium itself being located centrally to the city and downtown. Because a lot of stadiums in a lot of cities now don't have their NFL franchise in their stadium downtown. They're kind of geographically locked, or the city and the team couldn't come to an agreement downtown, or there's cheaper land in a suburb somewhere, which is fine. There's a lot of great NFL cities and venues, but there's something about being downtown and the buzz and the Colts game day atmosphere, taking over the entire city with the bars and the restaurants and all the hotels and people outside tailgating and parking lots all over in and around the Lucas Oil Stadium. I just think there's something magical to that, and it's very, very special. I've experienced it as a fan, as a Colts employee, as now a broadcaster. There's just something really cool about that. And then once you get inside the stadium, I think there's something for everyone. I mean, there's obviously the gift shops, and there's interactive things to do outside the stadium, in the stadium, and then the entertainment value that the Colts do once the game starts. I mean, bring your family, you watch the game, but there's also, things going on in the Jumbotron at halftime or during timeouts. It's just, the game day atmosphere at Lucas Oil Stadium, I think, is pretty unmatched. They do a very, very fantastic job of keeping you entertained for 3+ hours. While football's going on, while there's not football going on, it's just a really, really fun experience to come to a Colts game.
Now, do you feel the Jumbotron will be a little more careful with all of the news about the Jumbotron?
Oh, the kiss cam?
Yeah, the kiss cam.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys already been warned? Have you warned your guys about that?
Yeah, when you come to a public event now, I mean, it's I guess it's fair game.
Absolutely.
But that's the fun part of it, is just kind of being there and sharing those moments with all the fans. But and that's the great thing about sports too. To talk bigger picture than that is, sports brings folks together maybe like nothing else in our society. And I think that's the fun part about a Colts game is, we all come from different backgrounds, different cities, or have different beliefs politically or religiously. Certainly don't want to get into those things, but I think sports kind of brings us all together, at least for a little bit. Sure. We all kind of bond over, trying to get the Colts a win at Lucas Oil Stadium.
I agree, and we're very blessed, and Matt, you're very generous, and you give us tickets to give to our listeners, and it's so much fun to send someone up that's never been, and then if they talk to them afterwards, or sometimes I'll follow up, I'll see them out somewhere or something, and they're like, oh my gosh, it was an experience of a lifetime. And that's just in their eyes, you can see them, they light up. And that is what you want to do. That then you're doing it right. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love stories like that. We love folks that come and experience game day or experience the Colts brand of football for the first time. They get exposed to it, and then come back and they watch the next week, and they become fans for a long, long time. That's what it's all about, and that's what we hope to do on radio too. That's why we appreciate you guys carrying the games. Is we want to be in all pockets of the state. We want to be the state's team. We want to be, we want to bring entertainment to people Sunday afternoons, and hopefully share in your experience of enjoying a Colts game on radio, and that hopefully you become fans by listening, and then hopefully you become fans by watching or going or attending or just consuming the Colts however you choose. But we just want to enhance that, and that's why we really appreciate your guys' partnership.
I think it's also too the announcers.
Yeah.
What draws our listeners in.
It's those voices there, Matt.
There you go.
Those great announcers.
I appreciate that, yeah.
When you catch every play-by-play, and radio, that's the theater of the mind. You're painting it. So it is, you do a great job. And, when I know we're saying that, but really, I mean,
No,
you
it's
got
true.
you got a great announcer voice. You get us right there, and that's exactly what when you're announcing a game, and even my high school, announcers, that's what I say, you got to paint the picture. You can't assume we know that. And Matt, you do a great job. Your team.
Well, I appreciate that. I fell in love with that art form when I was about 10 years old, and I just love the concept of, and I still do. I very much still prefer to listen to a game than watch it, because just the concept of listening to someone's description and their knowledge, and to kind of close your eyes and use your imagination, and to go there and have it be painted in your imagination by someone else, I think is incredibly, for lack of a better term, it's going to sound corny and cheesy, but I think it's a very romantic medium, radio, that is.
I agree.
And it's always been a big following of mine, to kind of get lost in someone else's description and feel like I'm there without actually being there, because of the way someone's talking and communicating.
I agree.
You guys do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
So your first game's tonight at Baltimore, which is kind of cool, preseason, because that's where the Colts came from.
Yeah.
They were the Baltimore Colts back in the day, and we were big fans of Art Donovan, who played for the Colts back in the early times.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going in the other studio. We've got a jersey
Of his, yeah.
from Art Donovan. So anyway,
Matt, going back real quick, let's go back to some of the anything new, any new, I guess, rules that have been, put out, or anything that we need to get our listeners to know.
Yeah, I think the biggest rule this year is going to come on special teams, and I think there was a little bit of a culture shock, if you will, because the kickoff certainly got drastically overhauled and changed. The aesthetics of it looked way different last year. You had that starting zone, if you will, the landing zone. I mean, it used to be where the NFL, they changed the rules. Really, the emphasis of this was special teams coordinators and kickers have become so good at being able to just drive the ball in the end zone, and the kickoff just became such a non-play. It became a non-event, and I think concussion rates and injury rates on the play were very high because of the nature of the play, right? You got a team trying to cover a kickoff coming down full speed, and it's just a high-impact play. And so I think the NFL and teams sort of took matters into their own hands, and they were just banging the ball in the end zone, and the ball was coming out to the 25-yard line with a touchback, and so the touchback rate and the non-kickoff return rate was incredibly high, and it just became, for lack of a better term, it became a non-play. It became a play where everybody at the game, or folks that were watching the game at home, it became, I'm going to go refill my drink, or I'm going to go to the bathroom type of play, because it became a big nothing, if you will. And so the NFL didn't want to take the kickoff completely out of the game. So obviously last year they overhauled it. They changed the rules. They changed the structure of it. And they wanted to set up the play that would incentivize more kickoff returns and make it safer. And I think they were very successful in doing that. But they also didn't do it. They didn't change the rules enough to get the desired results. Now, the kickoff return rates last year were up drastically from the year before, but they wanted to do it a little bit higher. So what they've done is they've changed the they've changed the touchback line from the 30 to the 35-yard line. And the reason they did that is because the data last year showed that when kickoffs were returned, they were returned to the average starting line of about the 29-yard line, which the touchback line last year was the 30. So there was really no difference between bringing it out or accepting the touchback. And so this year what they've done is they've moved it up 5 yards, which you're going to say to yourself, well, 5 yards is a big deal. It actually is a very big deal. Teams don't want to give up that 5 yards. They really don't. Analytically, 5 yards from the 35-yard line to the 30 could lead. I mean, that's half a first down, and that could get teams closer to field goal range with one less play, if you will. So that 5 yards is going to be highly coveted. And I think the change there is going to make it a point where teams are going to cover these kicks. They're not just going to bang the ball in the end zone and give up a touchback. And so their hope is that the kickoff return rate this year will kind of balloon up to about 70 to 75%, which makes the game more fun. There's more strategy to it. It's more entertaining for the fans, and it just makes the kickoff more of a play, more of a factor of the game. And so I think that's the biggest rule change that we're going to see this year. And we're already seeing teams practice it and drill it. You're seeing every type of kickoff. You're seeing squibs. You're seeing high sky kicks. You're seeing intentional, what I call wobbly kicks by these kickers, just because they want to see, what's the best way to, put this in the landing zone between the 20-yard line and the goal line, which is what they have to do per the rules. And they want to see what's the best way to cover these kicks without giving up field position to the 35-yard line. So we're going to see all of that tonight. This is the time of year where you try things and experiment with things, and so that's what the preseason is going to be all about as far as these new kickoff tweaks and changes.
Well, I appreciate, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes changes, but you got to try it to see, right?
Absolutely.
All right, and then what team do you feel I know this is kind of like out there, but do you feel like it's going to be the most challenging team for the Colts to get a win this season? What team do you feel like is going to be most challenging for them on your this is personal, Matt Taylor?
Sure. I think you start first in the division. The Colts haven't won at the division since 2014, and the frustrating part about that is that every team in the AFC South since then has won it at least twice. And so that goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation. Haven't made the playoffs in 4 years, but just the urgency is there. And the city of Indianapolis it's a great place, and there's a lot going on now, and there's a lot of competing things for folks' disposable income. There's a ton of culture in the city. There's a ton of entertainment dollars with concert venues and, sports-wise, the Indians are going now every single day. Minor League Baseball, you've got the Pacers with a ton of franchise momentum, and they're going to be starting up in October. And they just made it to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The Indiana Fever are incredibly popular. Caitlin Clark's success and all the popularity she brings with that. So bottom line is there's a lot of competing things for folks to do in the town, and the Colts have to do their part to draw those entertainment dollars and give give fans a reason to come to games and to buy into this team. And so there's a lot of urgency about them. There's a lot of incentive for this season to go well. So there's no question about that. So I think you start first with the division. Haven't won it since 2014, as I said. The Texans have won each of the last 2 years. I think you start first with them. I think the Jaguars have, a new head coach. They've got new franchise leadership. I think they're up and coming. I think they're going to be better than most people think. Now, are they going to compete for the division this year? Probably not. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Same thing with the Titans. They're getting an overhaul, a new rookie quarterback, drafted first overall in Cam Ward. Perhaps there's going to be some growing pains there. I think they could be drastically better, but again, to what degree are they going to be a playoff team? I don't know. That might be a little bit of a bridge too far. So my point is, I still think it's going to come down to the Colts and Texans. I still think Houston is the chief rival and competitor this year for the Colts to win the AFC South. And those two games, those two head-to-head matchups are going to carry so much weight. And that was the frustrating thing about last year is the Colts were right there in both of those games against the Texans. They lost. They got swept by Houston last year, but they lost those games by a combined 5 points. And when you're 8-9 and you're missing out on the playoffs, there's a lot of things that you can point to, but those two very small marginal losses of the Texans, those were the biggest reasons why the Colts missed out on the playoffs last year. So the good news is those games don't happen or don't occur until the back half of the season. So hopefully the Colts can be playing some good football and kind of find their feet, get their feet under them going into those games. But those games are going to feel like, I think, for lack of a better term, like AFC South de facto championship games, because I think, C.J. Stroud and the franchise momentum that they have established there, that those are going to feel like very, very important games towards the back half of the season. And the Colts have just come up on the short end of the stick too often against the Texans lately. They've lost 3 straight games to Houston by all one-score margins. And so those are going to be vitally important for the Colts' quest to get on top of the AFC South.
Now, when you go to Nashville in October, in October, I think. When do you play the Titans? I guess September. You go down there. Are they finished with their new stadium, or is that still under construction?
No, that's still a few years away. Oh, yeah, I think they're targeting 2027 for that. But that is very much underway, and it's making good progress. Talking with them and some of their folks at the Combine this past February, they said they had some really good, unseasonable, warm weather down there in the winter, so they were able to just sort of modoc, and they're very much ahead of schedule. But they're still, I think, a year or two away from that thing opening. But it's going to be beautiful. It's going to mean a lot for the city of Nashville, because it's going to be an enclosed stadium. Yep. So obviously they're going to have a ton of country music, big acts play there. They're going to have Final Fours there. They're probably going to contend for a Super Bowl. I mean, Nashville is a great, entertainment city. It's a great convention city, and it's pretty much centrally located in the Midwest, or maybe sort of like the northern part of the South. But it's an easy place to get to, and that's going to mean big things for their city. Maybe not so much great things for the city of Indianapolis now that they have a competitor with a dome stadium not too far south of them. But it's going to be a great place to watch football, no doubt about that.
What is there a formula in the NFL like for lifetime of a stadium? Is it 20 years, and does that, or is it kind of?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I think it just kind of boils down to how well you take care of it, and with the city and then the government's structure and how it's maintained, things like that. I'll tell you, I'm not an expert on that by any means, but I will tell you that Lucas Oil Stadium now is going on 17 years old, and obviously it's had to go through its regular maintenance, if you will. The suites have to be updated, and the technology has to be updated. I mean, the jumbotrons, the big scoreboards have already been updated and things like that. The turf has been updated a couple of times, but to a large degree, Lucas Oil Stadium still looks brand new, and it is so well taken care of by the city and the CIB, and there's big functions in there, there's conventions in there. I mean, the amount of events that venue holds and what it means for our city. I don't even think you can put into words what our city would look like if we didn't have the Colts and Lucas Oil Stadium. So,
it's just such a beautiful.
It's very well taken care of, and it's still, I think, one of the more elite places venue-wise in the league. Yeah.
And didn't you just get some new turf? Just like, I think the same time that we here at Salem got our turf, I think, or around.
Yeah, it was this time last year.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, we were wondering who was going to get the new turf first.
Who's going to get it first?
That was a little competitive. No, I think you guys actually got it, and then they trickled on down to the south and got
right here in Salem, Indiana, playing on pretty much the same stuff.
I think we're the same company. So remember, I think Matt, I don't know if you got to get a road trip, but you were going to take a road trip down and see it. I still welcome you, and let me know whenever you are ready to do that, because I know you're kind of busy right now, though. So maybe after season's over. I mean, I know. Yeah, don't talk to me till after season, Becky. I get it. But anyway, so which we're very happy with ours, and yours is absolutely beautiful.
Even the snow didn't hang on it. I mean, the snow was afraid to stay around on this stuff.
It was. It's some bad grass. Let me tell you.
It was glowing so much that it melted the snow.
Yeah, Matt. Also going on another feature. It just that's something that's funny because we talk about Indianapolis. There's always like huge events. I mean, hosted a Super Bowl. And then like there's always so many different things going on, like what you're talking about, concerts, and right now we got the also the Indiana State Fair going on. But it's funny because I was talking to someone. I don't remember where they were from in Indianapolis, but anyway, we were talking about, but Indianapolis always does it and they do it well. I mean, it's like, it's not no big deal. You can just add layers and layers of events going on and you guys just handle it. Indianapolis just handles it well.
Yeah, it's awesome to be, from here. And, I can be downtown Indianapolis for a Colts home game or anything downtown in about 15 minutes. And it's like living in a big little city. There's no doubt about that. And all of these things are just sort of in our backyard here. We just had the WNBA All-Star game last winter. We had the NBA All-Star game. We've had Final Fours. We've had national championships. We've had the U.S. Olympic swimming trials at Lucas Oil Stadium. 2 gigantic swimming pools in a football stadium.
I know. How cool was that? No, that was awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes.
Yeah, they dream big around here, and they want to take chances, and they want to be the first, and they want to prove that there's nothing that is too big, and there's nothing that we can't handle, and they want to be imaginative, and they just always pull it off. I mean, you've been downtown Indianapolis enough times to know that when there's a big event in town, it just takes over. And the Big Ten tournaments here, it just feels like a collage of fans, and everybody's bonding over sport. And we've had Super Bowls, we've had Final Fours, you name it. And plus two, something that we don't take for granted is like we literally have the world's largest sporting event here every May. In the Indianapolis 500. And so we know how to do big events. We've got the venues for big events. Heck, the entire NCAA tournament was here in town one year. It took over about 6 or 7 different venues. No other city could have been able to pull that off infrastructure-wise and leadership-wise. So, when you're downtown, the greatest thing is, and plus we have the NFL Combine, right? Guys, people say all the time, well, I drove in from the airport, I parked my car, and I don't have to get back to my car until I leave because everything's all in one spot, downtown Indianapolis. It's that, walkable. There's that many things to do. It's laid out to, make sense. There's skywalks. It's just clean. It's efficient. And there's so many great venues now for music with Whitewater right there on the river downtown by the zoo. You've got Ruoff a little bit north in Noblesville. You got Cambridge Fieldhouse hosting concerts seemingly every weekend. Same thing with Lucas Oil Stadium. Like, there are big-time acts and big-time events in this city.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got invited to an orangutan birthday party at the zoo. A lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, and when you talk about the 500, I mean, how huge and what a fun year. This was a fun race.
Was a huge crowd.
It's huge. Record breaking. And here's the funny thing. And then that night was a Pacers game. And here's the thing. You handled it. Indianapolis handled it all.
That's it. No big deal. Yep. Just another year, Pacers and Racers. That's just what we do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so anyway, I'm going to brag on you all day long, but also I want to say too, real quick, you guys, not only are we talking about football and, but the big picture is how much you give back to the communities and what you do for charities and how the Colts, I mean, you guys, your hearts are just huge and the great things you do for individuals. And I can't say enough about all the charities that you guys give to.
Well, we appreciate that. And then again, we very much prioritize the Colts organization, that is, prioritizes being good stewards.
Yes.
And being part of the community, because the community is why we're here. The fans and the residents of Indianapolis, that's the whole reason. And we're trying to be good representatives and bring back that entertainment value, and inspire and motivate the right way, but also giving back and being part of the community. So, I think that's one of the more enjoyable parts of my job as well, is just to meet people and, be part of events, whether it's, a Halloween party or, a 5K coming up. I mean, there's so much, there's so many events that we do outside of football. I mean, they're in and around football associated with the season, but it's fun to just, meet people and hear their stories or how they became fans or, where they're from and things like that. That's probably the most enjoyable part of what I do, is people coming up to me and saying, here's how I consume game day, here's where I listen, or here's how I watch. And that's why you do it, to make people's lives, at least for 3 hours. I don't want to overemphasize it, but hopefully, create. We all have stresses and pressures and real life and things that come our way. We just want to be a 3-hour entertainment and enjoyable piece for people, that hopefully leads to good things for people to bond over and galvanize over when it comes to football, and hopefully get some more wins this year.
Yeah, I agree. Right. Well said, Matt. Well said. Well, you've been very generous with your time, and listen to Matt actually on WSLM right here, Matt Taylor. You rock, and I love the relationship that we have with the Colts. You guys are fantastic. I'm always so proud to say that I'm a Colts affiliate. That's a point of pride for me, for sure, with the station.
Well, we feel the same way. We appreciate you. It's important for us to be, on in as many places around the state, certainly in your market as well. And that's what it's all about. So appreciate everybody down there listening. Hopefully it's an enjoyable year. Hopefully we'll get you to jump out of your chair, on a 4th and goal conversion for a touchdown, and sharing that excitement, and just again bring happiness and joy around this football season.
And be sure to tune in tonight. You guys will be on at 6 for the pregame, and then kick off at 7 approximately.
That's correct. That's correct. Starts all tonight at 6.
Awesome.
All right. Keep up the great work, Matt, and get some voice rest there. Right.
I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, you as well. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Matt Taylor there, and
Colts football.
And the excitement, your voice.
Oh, wow.
Me. Oh, red leather. Thinking about the difference.
My question is he going? Is he going? I should have asked him. Did they go to the away game, or did they just watch it like from here?
Yeah, sometimes
during COVID they did that,
yeah.
where they didn't have any fans in the
Right,
baseball.
right.
They had the sounds, and it sounded like they were doing the game.
In my mind, I want to think of him getting on an airplane.
Maybe he was already in Baltimore.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, we didn't even ask him where he was at.
Didn't even ask him.
Yeah. Didn't ask him where he's at and what he's wearing, did we?
Well, I don't. It's too early to ask that, I think.
What are you wearing and where are you at? Those are the things that most people want to know, right? Okay, this is a morning show. All right. Anyway, hopefully everyone is ready. We're on to the 7th day of August already. August is flying by. Today is beach party day.
Oh.
Beach baby, come out. All right. Anyway, beach party day. So I guess in your mind, or for some reason, if you have a homemade beach or something. Anyway, there.
And the polite way to say that would be beach please.
Beach please. This is cycle to work day. Should have done that. Could have done that. National Lighthouse Day. Love lighthouses.
We're going to hopefully see some. We've been in a couple.
Yeah.
But we need to see.
What were we just talking? Who were we talking to, or something I read, or something about? It was years ago. Remember, there was a something sparked over here. Watch out.
It was just a dream.
Sparky. It was all a dream. Biggie Smalls over here. It was something sparked over here. Do you remember it was a big shipwreck. I gotta be careful.
Shiplap.
I told you I've not slept very much. It's a big shipwreck And it was back remember years ago, and they had to build a lighthouse.
Yeah, we were
because
watching
of the
on one of
rock.
the shark shows.
Yeah, it was the Discovery Channel.
They hit the
rocks,
and the sharks.
and the sharks got them all, or got majority of them. Here, let me do play-by-play. Sharks 10, people 0.
No, if you did survive, they were talking about.
No, it was horrible.
It was like the biggest thing before the Indianapolis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so anyway, they put a lighthouse there. Remember? Yeah. So the moral. So what? Cut to the chase, Becky. The lighthouse. They built a lighthouse.
Is there for? Yeah.
Which I love lighthouses.
In South Africa, I think.
And for those that are a little bit like obsessed with them, a little bit of a reminder that they say there's always like a lot of lighthouses are haunted. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that was actually when we drank from the Fountain of Youth. St. Augustine.
St. Augustine. We saw a lighthouse down there.
Yeah.
We went to a lighthouse in Michigan.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll go to a lighthouse maybe out on the East
Yeah.
Coast.
All right. National Sea Serpent Day. Sea serpent.
Would that
be Nessie?
Possibly.
I don't know. It could be, right? Let's see here. Packaging Day. Okay. Professional Speakers Day. All right. Whenever you're asked to speak, there's like so many different ways to play this. It's like you have to know your audience, and you have to know, how some, and always keep it shorter. You know what I mean? I think people are more appreciative of the shorter speeches.
I think one of our favorite speakers would be Matt Foley, the motivational speaker.
He's actually been down by the river in a van. Drinking coffee. Yes. Oh, he was
been in the basement drinking coffee for the past 6 hours. That
motivated me every time. I'm motivated every time. You got to get out there. Yeah. Raspberries and Cream Day. Raspberries, yes. It's hard to find raspberries. You don't get them very often. So
you got to get them before
strike when the iron's hot, right?
The birds love them as much as we do.
And you can always tell whenever the birds have got them. Yeah. So.
For sure, that and pokeberries.
Yeah. So hats off to those days. Get out and enjoy. This is kind of cool for those having this is Thursday, and I don't know if there's a lot of attention brought around Thursday, but here's some.
Thursday's kind of a throw off day.
I don't know. I feel like, because like Friday's like your yay Friday. Mondays you're like, Tuesdays you're right. Tuesdays, sometimes your Mondays, like, I guess a little bit further on. Wednesday's hump day. So where's Thursday? You don't hear much about Thursday, but maybe throw off Thursday.
Kind of Monday.
What?
It's kind of Monday.
Monday, Thursday. Okay, well, here's 6 weird ways, which anytime I hear weird in the total,
you're there.
You're going to draw me in. Weird ways to fit more movement into your day, okay? Number 1, do some squats while heating up your food in the microwave.
There you go.
Even if it's 30 seconds, it adds up, and you've already got some built-in timer. Can you imagine, like, in the break room, if you're in there doing squats? I think that if I walked in and I saw someone in the break room during doing squats while they're doing the microwave, actually, I might be a little impressed, okay?
Well, or direct them to the restroom.
Or... it's one of those when you walk in the room and you turn around, you're like, I didn't see that. How can you unsee that, though? Pick a favorite show and make yourself work out whenever you watch it. The downside is it might soon become your least favorite show. Now, when we've been on the treadmill before watching a show, that's kind of cool. Time goes fast now. Do calf raises while you're brushing your teeth.
There you go.
Like the microwave one, it's about putting the wasted time into good use. That's a good idea. Good idea. I'm always, though, when I'm, when you're brushing your teeth, don't forget the ones on the bottom because you don't want to let them know you forgot them. Yeah.
Barney.
But when you're brushing your teeth, this is what I just heard. Make sure you're taking time to brush your teeth. Don't rush through it. Brush your teeth, So you really got to concentrate on that. But I think you can do some calves muscles there. Calf raises. Number 4, don't sit when you're on the phone. You might have to if it's a work call or if you're on the computer, But if you're just catching up with a friend, pace around your home and go outside and walk around and get a walk in.
Oh, that's why I do what I do. Trying to get my steps in.
No. Is that no? It's just because you're trying to get away from all the noise.
No, I don't know.
I think it's the noise.
It's
I think
a weird habit. I'm a pacer on the phone.
You are a pacer, yeah. Number 5, carry your groceries to your car. That one makes sense. If you carry them all at once, no one's making multiple trips through.
I'll carry them in the car.
Right. Well, I'm getting to where if it's not very much, I try to carry them, take them out of the cart and carry them so that I don't have to take the cart out. Because I think for some reason in my head, I think I'm helping the cart pushers. Right? Maybe, I don't know. Number 6, rush through your chores. A recent study actually packed that one up. Things like vacuuming faster or hustling when you take out the trash can boost your heart rate up, and it counts as a mini workout. See, I've always told you that, and you don't remember. We've kind of had a disagreement on that, because I feel like that when you do your chores and you put a little pep in your step, you're getting a little bit of a workout there.
I could see that.
Well, remember, we've kind of disagreed with that. And vacuuming. Yeah.
I always defer to you.
No. But I do feel like you can do, it's funny because I was doing something the other day and it was a chore, and I felt like that if I moved a little faster, I could get it done a lot faster. So I got the high knee in gear and I kicked it out a lot faster. I felt like I really got a lot more done by doing that. Yeah. Right.
Good deal.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a little bit back on the day in August the 7th? You want to give us a little history? Let's go back that way back in the way back machine.
Chumley. Okay, 243 years ago today, this is going way back, George Washington created the Order of the Purple Heart, which is given exclusively to servicemen and women wounded in combat. It's the oldest military decoration still in use and the first award made available to the common soldier. Pretty cool.
Or if you're in MASH, you get one because you got shot and gave birth.
Yeah. He took Frank's Purple Heart and gave it to the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
68 years ago, in 1957, we lost Oliver Hardy from Laurel Hardy to a blood clot in the brain. He was 65. Stan, however, lived on about 8 more years and passed away in 1965.
Oh, wow.
Laurel Hardy, some of the best you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. 55 years ago, 1970, Stevie Wonder released the album Signed, Sealed, and Delivered.
And I'm yours.
Yeah, that was a good one. 35 years ago, we're going to skip some years. In 1995, 10 days before he was scheduled to be executed for the, I can't even pronounce some of this stuff. We're just going to skip on. 29 years ago in 1996, NASA scientists announced there was possible life on Mars, but 3.6 billion years ago. So that's not in our lifetime. 1997, this was a big deal. Garth Brooks put on a free concert in Central Park in New York, drew between 250,000 and 750,000 fans. They didn't count them, I guess. They didn't make them go through a count gate. Police estimated the crowd about 250,000. Becky estimated it up to about 5.5 more people were there.
Absolutely. That's our story. There you go. Garth and I, we know our truth. We know the truth.
Back today in 2005, Peter Jennings passed away from lung cancer. The Jonas Brothers released their second album 18 years ago today in 2007. Elena Kagan in 2010 was sworn in as the 4th woman to serve as a justice on the Supreme Court. And 10 years ago, 2015, Fantastic Four in their second iteration came out in theaters. So now we've had our third iteration, which is
Good.
Entertaining. It's dipping at the box office, so I don't know.
Well, it was up. It peaked up,
Yeah,
and then it went back down. Yeah,
went down.
that's all right. That's all right. It's still good. So good. So good. All right, we got to get out of here. Time is going by so fast. It's a Thursday. We're moving right along here, and hopefully it's a great Thursday for everyone. Got kids in school, and I think it's an adjustment for parents, caregivers, everyone involved.
Yep.
And buses were a little behind yesterday. We'll see how it goes today, but I think that's normal. I think that's just trying to get.
Well, it's new ones. They're getting the tires broke in.
That's it. Getting them revved up. Got to do the thing. But anyway, so hopefully all the school kids will have the best. I hope it's the best school year ever, and I hope for everybody involved, and I hope that hopefully there'll be a lot of learning. I know there's a lot of learning going on.
And today's day 6 of the state fair.
Yes, going strong.
The band America will be playing tonight. Horse with No Name.
I know. Went through the desert. How often do I sing that?
Let's see what else there.
And then the horse looks up and says, "Hey, I have a name."
My name's Henry. That today's their watermelon seed spitting contest at 3 o'clock.
Could have won that. Could win that.
We had a girl, one of our
daughters got a huge trophy
Addison,
too.
I think won.
This point of pride that was our family. That was our point of pride.
The cheese lady is going to be doing a cheese carving today at noon. I don't know what she's going to make.
A little cheesy, but okay.
There'll be wine tastings, dogs. High flying excitement as dogs launch off ramps into pools to catch things.
So trying to get Brad Gilbert's dog Max to learn that.
Oh, we need to get.
No, I don't think ours.
You don't think ours would do that?
I don't know. Well, maybe you would.
And big story. They are expanding the footprint for Bourbon and Beyond and Louder Than Life to include Kentucky Kingdom. So you could.
Oh, that's cool.
Go, I guess, while you're there to Kentucky Kingdom on your ticket and ride a couple of the rides.
That's nice. Well, it's right there. It's convenient. Yeah.
So anyway, and we do have Bourbon and Beyond tickets that will be given away. And
exciting.
I think Louder Than Life. They need to change the name of that one, I think.
Okay. Let's thank our sponsors this morning. Okay.
I won't say what
right, let's thank our sponsors.
Yeah, Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's, Foxbury Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Marshall Monuments, First Harrison Bank, Louisville Bats, Sneck Hospital, and Temple and Temple.
All right, let's have the best Thursday ever. Beautiful day. Get out and enjoy.
Yes.
John's Pizza Makers decided it was time to bring the cheesy burger pizza back for summer. Don't settle for a frozen cheeseburger at the drive-thru when you can get 8 slices of the cheesy burger pizza for just $12.99 at Papa John's. The cheesy burger pizza has all your favorite burger ingredients cooked on top of Papa John's original dough made with 6 simple ingredients, like a 1/4 pound of beef, diced tomatoes, cheese,